Hey everyone, it's Rye bringing you a continuation of my last game I probably showed you where I reverse killed someone. In this game, it's actually an interesting situation where I'm actually about to get attacked again. And this attack though is much more properly orchestrated, and there's a very high probability that I die because of it if I don't play it absolutely perfectly. So I'm in the middle of building my schools on turn 116. Needless to say, it's not a particularly good game because I got ear ward, and then ended up going for a reverse kill. My neighbor next to me, Expo, is a strong player in and of himself. He's playing Japan Commerce on the coast as autocracy. Now, this allows for two very common things. The first one is an Labs Rush, which enables them to go real bombers or stealth or something like that. Or they'll go Great War Bombers and attack with rifles and lancers and calves and stuff like that, with their real fighting force being Great War Bombers, right? So I'm autocracy here. Um, Again, my game is really behind. I have strong GPT and I have strong hammers, but I'm very tech behind. The way you beat Great War Bombers is with triplanes. I am very far from triplanes. It's going to be a long time until I get triplanes. So I'm not ready for this. I have a lot of units over here because I wasn't sharing any borders with anyone else that was an imminent threat. And Expos being the next strongest player in this lobby next to myself, I had a very strong suspicion that he was going to try something. I see the worker here. That's got my alarm bells going. So I'm going to start roading again. Very common with what you saw in the last video, but the first thing I'm going to be doing is roading in all of my cities. One important thing, and I haven't really touched on this, but these cities I just took are not operational. They need to be simmed up. They need to be fixed before I feel confident that they can help with the war. These cities do not help me win the war realistically. At most, they'll give me 2 units, right? That's kind of irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. If I wait 10 turns for them to build units, they'll be able to be completely different. 10 turns is the difference between flipping a city and having it limp to the finish line. I want to win the game. To win the game, I need these things to be strong. So these things are not going to be really impactful. There needs to be a lot of tiles improved. I lost a lot of infrastructure. The guy, I just got unlucky with city capture, RNG and stuff like that. Capturing buildings. So again, I'm going to be roading here in case he's coming, and boom, here he comes. So the rifles start showing. This typically means that he's going to be at flight. Now I need to get my calves in position so that they can hold tiles, but I know for a fact that this isn't going to be a long-term solution. The best way to counter planes is with double cover riflemen in forts. Beyond that, you can do double cover Great War infantry. I've even used normal infantry before just because it's completely stonewalled them. But in general, the best way to stall out plane, and I want to make this very clear. Riflemen in forts, double cover, excuse me, is not an answer. It's a band-aid. That is what you do when you don't have anything anywhere else to turn to. Okay? So, I want to make that very clear that my double cover rifleman play here is not going to be a be-all, end-all solution. It's just going to be something that helps me catch up, get to flight. It's a stalling unit. So like I said before, the way I beat him is I get to flight. And I need to get to flight. Now, I checked tech. He's only like he's only 1 tech ahead of me. That means he doesn't have cav. And he's attacking clearly he doesn't. He's attacking with rifles and a lancer. So that means he's at flight. right? Because I'm teching, what's that tech called? Is that archaeology? I think that's archaeology. So I'm taking archaeology, then I need biology, I need steam power, and I need flight. He probably has flight either this turn or next turn. And I'm going to show you guys what the important thing is when you're going through this type of thing. All right, so I can Ryan just zoom out for a second. So, okay. One city's here. Is that right? Let me scroll back so I can just showcase this a little easier. Okay, there. What? All right, here. So, main thing you want to know for a Great War Bomber play is that they have 7 range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he can attack Munich from that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this can't attack Munich. That means I know anything underneath these tiles are completely safe. I don't have to worry about any of them attacking behind Munich. So those are always tiles that I can be putting units on to heal. Additionally, that means that the city to my south here is not in it that much of a threat. The most important tile for me to hold is going to be this tile right here where my cav is. Now, remember, I just fought in a really long, really strenuous war. I've got a bunch of great I have great generals, right? Tons of them. It is not weird for me to opt to put in to drop a general on a really important tile, such as this one, so that I'm unable to be attacked. Why is this tile so important? Well, one, the way to get to Munich is either to the left, which, remember, he can't attack the tiles underneath here, so he only can attack this tile and this tile if he wants to grab onto Munich. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he can attack these 3 as well. So that means he has to either cross this river or cross all these hills, which he's probably not going to do. Cross this river and then push in on the right here, which means he'd need to cross the river. Let's say he crosses here. 1, 2. Okay, that's 4 moves. He can't get there yet, so he has to sit there. Let's say he crosses this river. That means he lands on this tile. So that means the only way to cross the river and take the city on the same turn is by 1, bombing this down so it doesn't get zocked, crossing this river, waiting a turn, and then attacking the city. Needless to say, it's very difficult for him to break into the city from the top if there's a citadel right here. So that's what I'm going to opt for. I'm going to finish this road underneath it. Maybe I think I'll just drop it down beforehand. So I'm going to hold this tile too. And I think I may put one here as well, but I see most of his force is coming from the left here. And I know that this is in tile range, so I want to make sure it's out. He hasn't started bombing me yet, which tells me he only probably just got to flight, which is really, really fortunate for me. So we're going to skip ahead a bit. And all I'm going to be doing here is buying rifles. I'm going to be buying some rifles because rifles are super good. I have triple promotions. I think I bulbed a rider to get to Total War here. And you see this tile is extremely difficult to hold properly, especially when bombers come into play. So I'm going to need a lot of rifles on that land. So I'm just going to try to focus on hammering everything down so I can, get to the stage where I'm confident in those units so I can actually build them. This city's too behind. It's too time sensitive to actually build the military academies. I don't have honor. The only reason I'm triple promotions in Berlin is because I built. I have an armory up and I have Brandenburg Gate. So again, we're gonna do some damage here to the rifle there. I might drop another general north of Munich, but I'm not sure. I think right now I just kind of want the general bonus. But I do stand by the fact that I think a general on this top tile would have been probably better, but he's obviously leaning way more into trying to attack from the left. And I'm going to do something similar here where I don't want this rifle to come out. I'm fine taking damage on the cav if it doesn't allow the rifle to move up. So I'm just going to shoot with these cannons. They're completely fucking useless. But if I'm able to, kill a couple units, those are units he doesn't want to be buying. The only thing he wants to be buying are planes. If he has to buy rifles, it's very inefficient for him. Or not inefficient, but it's time inefficient. So again, we're going to be buying a rifle here. And you'll see I'm going to be opting for flat double cover so I can put it on the tile north of Munich. I really need a fort on that tile. Really, really bad. It's actually like costing me a ton that I don't have it. That was a crossbow that got into range promotion, which is kind of cool. Or actually, no, I think it may have been a longbow that I upgraded. I don't remember. So I really need to get a fort. That worker's going. My rifles are fortified, with cover. They are taking substantially less damage from the autocracy player. The main reason I'm able to defend here, and I want to make this very clear, the main reason I'm able to defend here is because of Defender Himeji and autocracy. If he had a really big combat advantage, it would be over. But because I am able to do such a good job of evening out the playing field when it comes to combat advantages, it nullifies any tech advantage he has. So this is why I put such a big emphasis on Defender of the Faith and getting Himeji, because even if I'm behind in tech, those defense bonuses make up for more than enough. Additionally, if you think about it, what's the difference between a landship and a tank? It's only 10 combat strength, right? Okay, well, 10 combat strength on 60 to get to 70 is like less than 15%. So effectively, having Himeji is better than having... Actually, I guess not, because there's an extra 50%. Either way, it's comparable. Having Himeji with landships versus having tanks with no Himeji is about the same. So here I am. I'm saving these riflemen. Making sure these swaps get off is probably the most important thing. If he's able to take that tile and pillage the road, I am in a very, very bad position. I need to make sure that that tile right here is always got a full health rifle in it or something. If that means that I gift the unit away to a CS, so be it. But I need to make sure that that unit is always standing in that position. And importantly, see, like, this is a problem. So I'm going to bring the cav over, slam, and then bring that over. So I need to make sure I'm holding that tile. Because think of like how much damage I'm doing with a good general here. He's pushing in from the left. If I was him, I would have been pushing in from probably the top. He's got a general. I would have placed that general down right here to try to break in. But bomb it down, hold the tiles, kill the thing in the fort, etc. But he's trying to take it slow, and that's fine. But he's taking 30 damage on each of these units. That's effectively losing a unit every single turn. He's got 3 units next to my my general tile. So I'm at 512 hammers. It's not that strong, frankly. It's really not that good. I'm not in GA, I guess, but it's enough where I feel okay. So a scientist comes out in 2. That's going to get me hopefully through steam power. I'm saving money here because I know that the way I do this is with planes. So he's bombing the city because he's not making any progress on killing units. And if he's able to get one really big swoop attack. Okay. So I Oxford flight here. This is a good call by me, frankly. I haven't seen this game in a long time. I Oxford Flight here because I know that I'll be able to buy a bunch of triplanes, and that completely will stall him. So Munich is going to be building its. I need to make sure that, remember, this is a very similar idea as before, but I need to make sure that I am holding this tile like at all times. So I'm going to be bouncing this up and then bouncing the other rifle up so that he can't put a unit next to Munich. I think that rifle had just moved. That's why I wasn't too concerned. Now I'm going to be heading to landships because I know that's where he's going. All right. So he's like very low on melee units because remember what I was saying before where he only wants to be buying bombers. He's not, he might be like hard building the melee units and he doesn't have a lot of hammers because he's commerce. So he's running out of units to put in the front line. That much is obvious. He can't support this bottom side push on Munich, or sorry, on Hamburg. He's only able to put stuff on Munich, which is why I'm really not worried about the Hamburg situation. So here I'm debating whether I want to buy triplanes in my northern city or in Munich or in Berlin. If I buy them in Berlin, I get an additional promotion. If I buy them in Munich, I lose a promotion, but they're able to cover up a bigger range because triplanes have 6 range. There's a 5. It's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would not be able to cover this first ring, which is the only thing I actually give a fuck about. So I needed them in Munich. So I'm still deciding here. End up buying them in Munich because I need the cover that turn. I need to have that cover. So I've got 2 generals now sitting by. I'm still at general advantage probably. So we're just going to fast forward a bit here. So now, as soon as I get triplanes, because he likely only bought Great War Bombers, as soon as I get triplanes, you know, it's going to be, he's going to need to buy triplanes unless he himself is going to need to buy triplanes unless he wants to, like, put himself in a bind. So it's obviously stalling. I'm taking the time to build military academies. But all I know right now is that he's likely going to be heading straight for landships. So the best way I can, deal with landships is by having bombers to counter those landships and start shooting off everything. So right there, that did 70 to him, which is obviously a shitload. I'm putting a unit here in case he gets a little, ambitious and tries to go for Cologne. Though I don't think that would be a smart idea as he wouldn't have any bomber coverage over by Cologne. But anyway, I'm taking the time to build like my, barracks and stuff. Very important, especially when you have Total War. Getting those double promos is is absolutely massive, especially like with cover or, whatever else. All right, so I'm gonna be building some. I think I should build a Lancer here. That way I can upgrade it. Okay, no, I'm just gonna go for a National Epic to speed up my scientist. I think I do Lancer though. Yeah, because I know he's going for landships. I know he's going for landships. Otherwise he'd be like trying to all in me right now. But instead he's just holding tiles and waiting until he gets to landships. But the reason my science is so good, by the way, is because these cities in the back actually are building infrastructure. It's the only reason. So he's sweeping my tries. That's fine. As long as I have a bunch of triplanes, it's going to be very difficult for him to, amass enough triplanes of his own to counter mine. So triplanes are an amazing unit just for stalling. Additionally, I know he's gonna be using all of his sweeps to push in. Now he could, he doesn't know how many I have, so that's the other important bit. All right. So I'm building the caravan in Hamburg because it's just obviously it's incredibly important. I'm putting a triplane here that way I could get better vision. And you know, auto versus auto triplanes is really not that hard. It is not that bad because you get one unit. I think this Lancer I made is actually a medic unit. It's the cheapest unit I could make. So it's actually just like Flatland promo and then medic. That way it's going to heal my triplanes as they are sitting in my city healing effectively after they, block a sweep. So I'm 6 turns away from landships. He's obviously also having a slow game. I think he ward New Zealand and then that didn't go well. So then but he still had a pretty good plane timing. I mean, it wasn't like good, but it wasn't like bad either. But like 20 versus 34, I'm fine with that. I'm healing 20, 10 extra for being in the city, and then 5 extra for each medic. I think it's 5. So I'm healing 40 on every single plane hit. So he's just losing all this health and he's not regaining it. I'm gaining all of it back. Might be more than 40. It might be 50. Frankly, I'm not sure. But yeah, all right. So I just need to make sure that I always have a unit to swap in there. And if he did happen to take it, I could, shoot it down with bombers. That's why I'm not using my bomber shots right now. In case he is able to attack that city and take that tile, I'm able to put up some sort of resistance and take it back. Now, I don't want people to think that I'm showing this game because I played it really well. I think I did play it well, but this is by no means perfect, and there's a lot of improvements I could have made to how I'm defending this. Absolutely. So, don't see this as like an end all be all guide or anything like that. This is very much just like an example footage that you could hopefully learn something from. So he's gonna bide his time until he gets landships. So I think that's now. Yep, he's 131. I'm 4 turns away. So this is usually like a very scary turn for people, right? But again, we're going to be using the same concepts we were using before. I need to make sure that I'm containing these landships as best as I can so that they don't pillage too many of my tiles and whatnot. So those are the ones that I'm going to be focusing on picking off. And I'm going to be building units that can flank, and cabs are great for this because if I can have a lot of cabs that flank, obviously I also want the upgrades too. Now I'm at 800 hammers, so that's quite good. Germany things, haha. Now I'm at now I can get units into a position where they can flank, but beyond just flanking, I'll also be able to take 66% towards mounted units, ambush, which is just amazing. So if I can get double ambush units as cabs, they can actually trade not terrible into landships. Obviously, it's not great, but it's not terrible either. right. Let's see how this turn goes. So here he is. He's going to try to be cycling on that. Remember, my objective is not to push too far. I need to just swap. I need to hold these tiles as best I can. That's the only thing I need to do, is just hold the tile. So I cut him there. So he's out of swaps already on that tile. I think he swapped. I think he slammed like four times or something. He doesn't have that many landships because he just spent almost all of his money on planes. So he hasn't had enough time to build up another big enough cash stack. Additionally, I'm bombing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is not in the range of triplanes. As soon as he breaks into this area, his triplane coverage is gone. So I can always just freely bomb any of those units. So this one, I should be bombing the rifle instead. But that's so crazy. You see how much damage that took? That was just. This is why I like the jump between landships and everything else. This is why landship to cabs is the biggest jump in power. So again, I'm just containing this so that the landship can't run free. He always has to go through me. So I'm saving my cab here. Really efficient to ping off low HP units with planes. All right, landships next turn with 3,000 gold. So I want to make this very clear. I don't want to upgrade right away. It's the worst thing you could do is upgrade right away. You want to make sure you use your moves, and you want to make sure that those units are actually functional. If I upgrade this cab here, he gets pinged down by bombers, and then Munich's dead. So I'm going to upgrade the ones here because I'm trapping the landship, but the ones up front I'm never going to touch. So this doesn't really have enough move to be useful, so it's just going to get upgraded. And at some point soon, Expos is going to be like, I can't do this because, you know, I'm even in tech with him now. Yep, here it is. All right. And then, you know, from here, we just go down and go kill the rest of the world. So that's how, in this case, I defended 2 players, both with tech advantage and both that wanted to kill me. Hopefully this was helpful. I'll probably post this full game at some point, but right now I think this is a good example game to show like two pretty important concepts. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. If you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe, and I will see you next time.